One of the absolute OGs of comedy has to be Bill Burr. He's been around for a long time. I think the first thing that I ever saw him do was the Chappelle Show. He was on a couple of the episodes and a couple of the skits. And ever since then, I've followed his career. I think he's funny. I think that he he has a very unique style of comedy that just I find to be hilarious. I've kind of fallen off a little bit as of late just because I don't know, there's so many other comedians out there that are, you know, in the limelight that I kind of forget about Bill Burr, and then something pops up and I'm like, classic Bill. So we're going to do a comedy spotlight, try not to laugh, whatever you want to call it. Another video from Joke World. Make sure to go subscribe, show some love to him. The link will be down in the description below. And this is Bill Burr's Funniest Moments Part 1. Of course, we'll probably do more parts and more videos of all these comedians as time goes on. So let's hop into it.
With airplane peanuts.
Here we go.
Let's get a lady.
This is the first person wearing a shirt, I believe.
That's our audience.
All right.
Hey Bill, hey Theo, this is Marissa from Raleigh, North Carolina. And so Bill, I heard you say on, I believe it was Joe Rogan's podcast, that you really like the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and you've seen it several times. And I know Theo said that he walked out halfway through it. So I was just wondering maybe if you could talk about why you loved it so much, and Theo, why you walked out halfway through it. Anyway, gang.
Well, this is where Bill and I don't talk anymore after this.
No. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I absolutely fucking loved it.
I heard on your podcast you say that you loved it.
Oh my god, dude, it's the best work. Leo's. I mean, Brad Pitt's great. First time you watch it, I was just like, I want to be like Brad Pitt's the guy I want to be.
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, I'm just like Leo's character. I have an emotional fucking mess. Well, I don't know what part you walked out in, but
I walked out after they went to that house for the first time, after they met the old guy, and they were in the yard, and then his car had a flat tire.
Oh.
And at that point, I was like, I got to get out of here. I don't know what these guys are doing. You know, I felt like it was just kind of a waste of, I don't know. I couldn't get into it, and I didn't know what was going on. And it made me feel uncomfortable. I was like, I got to get out of here. Because I started to feel like everybody knows what's going on, and I don't know what's going on, you know, I guess.
yeah, that's for you and the therapist, buddy.
Yeah.
If that happens to you with the fucking movies, if you think the whole movie theater gives a shit about whether
No, I don't think
were you making like audible noises that you didn't? Huh? What? Oh.
If you guys don't know, this was probably one of the most awkward podcasts that have ever existed ever. Like, because Theo Von is the king of like, he does like, I don't even know how to explain it. He's so good at uncomfortable like stuff, and he's so good at making people just like be, what the fuck? But Bill Burr, I don't know if Bill Burr just didn't know him or like doesn't understand it or doesn't like his comedy or something. But dude, he just went on here and proceeded to roast him, and it was just, I don't know, they were just such vastly different people that it did not mesh well. And I do have to say, Bill Burr, like, I think we all kind of know he's kind of a dickhead, obviously. Like, if you watch his stand-up, he's just an asshole, but he's funny. But then, like, it's hard to tell if he's doing a bit and being funny on podcasts, like his stand-up, or if he's just being a dickhead, or if none of it's a bit and none of it's a character and none of it, and it's just, he's authentically just a dickhead that's funny. Like, it's so hard to tell, but that's what makes him so good.
Oh my God,
That's the only way they would know.
Fuck, man. I didn't know I was so fucked up, man.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I really didn't.
You do.
I didn't have the insider track, man.
You do.
I really didn't, though. I really didn't, man.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk you into that masterpiece. It's one of my. It might be my favorite thing.
That's what you said. That's unbelievable.
Colin calls you Billy, but I fucking Bill.
I'm
you know
just
what I mean?
immediately noticing. I don't know about the chain if it's thick enough to be that level of confidence.
Yeah,
it's
but when
that's
the
more of a necklace.
when the chain's out,
Yeah,
I just
he has on a fat chick ankle bracelet around
Yeah,
his
I
fucking neck.
no, I say guy when the chain's out.
Yeah, when it chains
Okay.
out. Yeah, but he does make a good point. It's not
It's
really
not-
a chain. It's more of an ankle bracelet on a big
Well,
girl.
yeah, my kid's mom was like, "Why are you wearing women's jewelry?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Shut up."
But here's the
Oh,
thing: his
damn.
mom bought him for that, and he like for high school,
Oh.
and then he found it in his room and he
Yeah.
put it back on.
My-
I'm saying his face. It's too much Guido when it comes out.
No, you know what it is? You've aged past that chain where it becomes a necklace. If you're like
Right.
18, I get it. This is his first
Right, yeah.
one.
Yeah.
A relative bought it for him.
Yeah.
One time, I was in Rome, right?
God, that
We were with
cigar.
my wife, and we went to the Vatican to go take
What the fuck kind of cigar is that? That's like the size of his wrist, dog.
the tour of the Sistine Chapel. Yeah. So there's a way to. I don't know. We went through the whole fucking thing, and we're just sitting there. We come in and we're looking at it, whatever, and we're standing in line. It took for fucking ever. So I say to my wife, I was going, you know, if I lived here, I'd open a bar across the street called the 17 Chapel. She goes, what? I go, 17 Chapel. She goes, what? I don't know. 16 Chapel? 17 Chapel. It's
Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Motherfuckers, like, I bet the majority of people think it's the 16 Chapel. It's not.
like having the 19th hole.
I had to have that explained to me. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm better. Like someone had to explain it to me.
God.
Bar thing, and she looked at me
Oh my
like,
God.
oh my God, I'm breeding with this.
Oh
and she
my
goes,
God.
"Bill, it's the Sistine Chapel. And then all I could say was this. I just go, no, it isn't. and then it was funny. Then I walked in, and I looked up, and I didn't even like it. It's not even that big. It's like the size of the side of this fucking thing. He milked it. It should have taken way less time. I'm telling you, they were paying him by the fucking hour. No, I have a lot of those. I have a lot. Oh, Jesus, don't die on us, man.
No, I can imagine the room before it. You're like 15 and 16.
I thought it was the 16 Chapel. No, I'm bald.
No, but
I wonder if what his opinions are on Bert. I'm sure there's a video talking about it because Bert's such a he's such a guy. He's such a weird guy with all of these like quirks and issues. I wonder if he really dislikes him or if he's a friend, like a big fan of his.
Going.
I know, but you still had some stuff, residue of hair.
Residue?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had residue. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You could have done
I
a
have.
Chernobyl thing that you were doing, but
I
yeah, but you didn't. You just didn't say it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Are we going right now?
No, we don't. There's no rules. But I'm
Okay,
I'm just asking a question.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna answer.
I understand that, but why are you? Your head looks like Darth Vader when he took his fucking helmet off. Remember that? And he was just all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Is that the? That's fine. You're Bill Burr, but.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead. I
This
just-
process of you coming out of the gate shitting on me.
Yeah.
You know, when you start to lose your hair, you got three options.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
and there's subsets to all of them.
All right.
Okay, you can do the Rogaine, the hair plugs, a
Right.
system, a fucking all of that.
Propecia.
Propecia,
Right.
a fucking they glue some shit on your head.
Right.
They take some of your pube hair and you get an afro.
Yeah.
Or you can just sort of let it happen.
Which you were doing, which I was like, that's the dope way to do it.
Oh, I'm glad I had your approval. Or you can just say
He's such a
fuck it
dick.
Yeah.
and do what I did. So I just said fuck it.
Okay.
But what if
And I do. Like,
you-
I love how you came at me aggressive, and now you got your those little panda hands.
I was
up.
Panda hands.
my little panda hand.
Huh? That's
Let
what
me-
you look like. You look like a little panda.
I know. I was just because when you took your hat
like a
off.
little adolescent bear.
You know, I was 19. I was freshman, sophomore, so I was acting like an idiot. Would
Also
pull up-
doing a couple cycles of Winstrol.
Yeah,
at
I was
that
on
time.
Winstrol at the time.
Yeah, he did a couple cycles.
It's what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
So
low steroids.
Thank you.
yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. So,
Steroids for basketball?
Yeah.
well, just you could move. I mean, I could just I could like tomahawk dunk. I was just like being an athlete. Basketball was such a huge part of my life that my friends you know, when I do comedy, if they, you know, do something with comedy, my friends from home.
Wait, you couldn't dunk and then you took roids and then you could?
No, I always could. I always could. Well, I couldn't always. I started being able to dunk when I was like 16. I did Winstrel once for like 6 weeks, so it was a small part of it.
You did a cycle.
I did a cycle. Yeah. Just one cycle.
Yeah.
Happens. And to be honest with you, when I did that cycle, I was my junior year in college. It was my worst year because I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and all bullshit from
Did your balls
side
shriveling up?
yeah, all that.
You can go between the legs a little easier that year.
Yeah, my balls
With the
were shriveled.
anxiety.
But it was just the way to communicate.
I
in my
love that
neighborhood.
you felt at Division III. I got to get on roids. I need a competitor.
We got to beat LaSalle Academy next week.
Yeah.
You know what fascinates me is like basically the first 16 or 17 years of my life when I never, I mean, I took a couple sips of my, you know, stole a beer here, there for my dad, but I never really went out and tried to get drunk until I was like 16 or 17. But I went for like a decade and a half, like I was straight edge. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but the thing was,
Oh, you told kids you were straight edge? You're like, I don't drink,
no,
man,
no,
I'm good.
no. Just out of being a kid, it's not like your first 10 years of your life. You're like, fuck, playground, man. I need a drink. I mean, it's just not where your world is at. And the thing was, it's Pandora's box. Then once you catch a buzz, then it's just like, oh man, this is this other kind of living. And it's you know, I didn't understand that. I was kind of using that as like a. I'm not saying I'm never gonna fucking drink again, but I had to like. I kind of just had to like step back and just be like, all right, because you know the reality is I got a kid, so I just didn't want to be that. I'm like,
Yeah, you don't want to be drunk when your kid's around.
My fucking Lou Grant with a bottle of whiskey in the. Remember that on Mary Tyler Moore show?
No, I don't
She'd have a
remember
rough day and she'd come in and
I don't remember the whole show.
I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
If I can explain it to
Okay,
you.
go ahead.
This fucking guy just I don't know what that is. All right.
No, I believe it.
I don't know. And the second I started to explain, like, I don't know the whole show. All right, I get it.
I believe
That's that comic ADD. Like, I don't want to fucking, I'm not into it. I don't want to hear it. I got it. Your show. Go ahead. Continue.
I remember, all right, let's talk about old shows then.
We don't have to. I just it was so funny how you bailed twice on that. You
Patty Duke. What about
You made me
that?
feel like an ass.
God, see, this is it makes me so uncomfortable.
Like that was the 15th time I fucking brought it up. Sorry, no Mary Tyler Moore. One of the great ensemble fucking cast of all time.
I do know she just died recently.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring up a more positive story about the show, but yeah, it's the second time. I bring up fucking George Michael. What was it, an AIDS event? Some sort of gay thing?
Oh, I didn't say gay, bro.
But why did you say AIDS?
Because he had AIDS, man.
No, he didn't.
Did he? Jesus Christ.
No, he
dude.
didn't.
Well, people have been saying he did.
I think you are confusing it with gay.
No, I'm not. I didn't know he was gay. I knew that apparently he got AIDS in a park. That's what I heard. And
No, he blew a guy in a porta potty and got busted for lewd activity.
Oh.
And then, he, had a little fucking, he liked getting a little buzz at the end of the fucking day, and maybe it got away from him. I think that's what happened. But, like, what I would like to focus on was how amazing his voice was and how talented he was, and I performed and stood in the same spot that this guy did.
Yeah.
That's what the point was, not what he died of.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I wish it was.
What happened in your life? Who'd you lose early on? You're really into death.
Well, no. I mean, I remember listening.
You don't want to get to know Mary Tyler Moore because you're afraid she's going to leave you too?
Oh, my God.
I remember listening to George Michael on the school bus when I would go to school. And I felt like, and I would always sit by myself.
Did you feel like you were going to catch AIDS by doing that? Some sort of airborne HIV through the fucking radio? I mean, bro, I was holding it up to my ear,
I could feel my ass.
In a roofless school bus. Right. Whatever the windborne radio AIDS was going to get me.
That's why that episode is so awkward. Like, dude, he just... I don't know. I guess you just have to really know Theo Von, right? And know the Theoisms or whatever they call it to, like, be able to do his podcast. Because, I mean, I get, like... I think one of the worst podcasts I've ever watched was Neil deGrasse Tyson on Joe Rogan, like the second or third time, because he just wouldn't let him talk. And don't get me wrong, I did 250 episodes of a podcast, and then I've done like another probably 50-ish on other types of podcasts. And like when you get excited to say something that you really think's going to bolster the conversation in a fun or a positive way or insightful way, it's hard not to just immediately like cut them off and and say your shit. But and maybe that's where Theo just like that's like the fun part of his thing is he'll just like cut people off and be like, yeah, like I don't know, or just like go on different routes and tangents to keep people on their toes. But that episode was just not. There was just two personalities that didn't quite mesh well together. But I'm pretty sure Bill Burr came out because there was like a bunch of people saying like, "Oh, Bill Burr hates him and all that type of stuff." And I believe he came out and said like, "I don't hate him at all." Let me see, Bill Burr statement on Theo Von. Let me see if I could find like a. I know that he like talked about it. Bill Burr talks about his awkward Theo Von podcast. Here we'll just switch over and watch this really quick. Oh, this video is unavailable. Okay, cool. Sweet, man, sweet. Let's see here. What I saw was I don't know. Watch the Theo Von. I guess I can't find it. I know there's a video where he talks about it, but I think he ends up saying that Theo Von's one of his favorite comedians, which is quite a statement coming from Bill Burr. I think that it was just that's what I said early on about Bill Burr is it's like it's tough to tell if it's like a character all the time, if he's always on, if that's just him and he's just a funny dickhead, or if he's trying to do bits to be funny. I don't know. He's really smart though. Bill Burr's really, really smart and tactical with what he does. So I think he just didn't know how to handle it and just went into his comedy. And I mean, game's the game, right? Like I said, though, make sure you guys go show some love to Joke World. His link will be down below. He's fucking killing it. Can't say more about the guy. He's going to be taking over the space when it comes to comedy news and all that fun stuff. And we'll be back next week with another comedian. Thank you so much. Peace.